Hi guys, it's Mark Zicree, Mr. Sci-Fi, also known as Mark Zicree of Space Command. And, and I am wearing my new glasses, which are the same style that was worn by Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. So they're pretty cool. And they're prescription, so I can actually see, which is great. Now, also, our Kickstarter campaign is winding down on its last few days. We are committed to making the target, or we get no money. So we've got all sorts of great perks there. We've got acting roles, either in person or long distance. We've got producer credits, and we've got t-shirts, and we've got DVDs and Blu-rays, and you name it. So please go there, do what you can, because we really need the funds to be able to finish what we're up to. So thanks very much. Now, we are going to talk about Army of the Dead, the latest blockbuster on Netflix, and another Zack Snyder movie. Where to start? Well, $200 million probably could have been used better. Well, Zack Snyder is a mixed bag. I tried to watch Justice League, got a couple hours into it, just really didn't care about the characters. I hate CG villains. They're just, very problematic. And, generally I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder movies. The only one I really do like is Watchmen. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like that movie, some people who do. I read the graphic novel about 20 years ago and really loved it, and I think it's a very faithful adaptation. He really tried. I think the cast is terrific, and it really, for me at least, it really works. And so for me, Zack Snyder's been downhill from there. Now, let's talk about Army of the Dead. So first of all, one thing that really bugs me, and again, there really is a question of how old a movie can be where you can rip it off. And I don't think one should, but it does become a line between an homage or a tip of the hat versus, okay, well, that's, not as good as what was originally done, and why are you ripping it off? Because there are moments from Aliens in this movie, and moments from I, Legend in this movie, and it really kind of goes thunk. Here's my basics on Army of the Dead. I was looking forward to it. I like really good zombie movies, but for me, this movie was, there was no character depth, and it's like, oh, Dave Bautista and his daughter are estranged because he killed the mom, and then when she was a zombie, and then felt bad about it and wasn't available to his daughter, and it's like, Richard Manning used to refer to this as spray-on character. So it's just a fine mist of character without it actually being a character. And that was what I felt about all the people in this. There's a funny German, which seems to be a contradiction in terms. But that said, the plot doesn't make any sense at all. I gotta tell you. I mean, you're a gazillionaire. Now there's spoilers here. Be aware there's spoilers. You're a gazillionaire. You want to get the head of a super zombie so you can make an army of super zombies. Okay, reasonable. So you tell a group of people that there's a vault they have to break into in Vegas, which is full of zombies about to get nuked. So what? They can be a distraction, or because the moment our guys go in, they're immediately confronted by the girl zombie, who ultimately gets her head cut off, and she's the zombie the guy's taken back. So why didn't they just hire a team to do that, pay them a reasonable amount, and, Bob's your uncle. They're in and out within 10 minutes. I mean, I don't, and then it's like, and Zeus, the super zombie, abducts human beings, but then he doesn't turn them to zombies immediately. He holds on to them until they're ripe. And then doles them out one at a time for no reason other than that our girl can save the woman who she was going there to save. Again, just very little sense. And it's one of those plots. It's what Damon Knight called the idiot plot, which is everyone has to act like an idiot for the plot to work. And again, you can disagree. If you loved Army of the Dead, more power to you. But for me, there are many more zombie movies. Let me walk you through the history of it, because what a zombie is has really been broadened in its definition. Because originally, before George Romero, zombies were just these, guys in Haiti, and it was really boring, and they weren't effective monsters. And you had movies like White Zombie, and And it was just like, oh man, this really doesn't get much traction. But then George Romero, who was outside of the Hollywood bubble, decided to make a low-budget feature. He'd been making industrial films. He made Night of the Living Dead. It was a huge success, and he created one of the few modern monsters. Most of the monsters, the classic monsters, Frankenstein, Dracula, Jekyll and Hyde, are Invisible Man, are all from the 19th century or earlier. George Romero's zombies were great. The living dead, they come back from the dead, they bite people, those people get infected, they become zombies. Great. Then Dan O'Bannon, who had done Alien, wrote and directed Return of the Living Dead, where all of a sudden the zombies want to eat brains, so that became another little zombie trope. And then we get 28 Days Later, where it's a disease, a bioengineered disease that people get, and they don't become the living dead, but they become just crazed, violent, zombie-like creatures. And that still works as zombies, but they're fast. They move fast, whereas previously zombies, because they were, corpses, they moved slowly, but these ones move fast. So then we get I Am Legend. Now, I Am Legend was written as a book by Richard Matheson in the 50s and made into a Last Man on Earth and the Omega Man. But then Will Smith made I Am Legend, and it was a hit. And that movie, in the novel, it was a disease that makes you into a vampire. But in this movie, it made them much more as creatures like zombies. And like if you get bit, you become one. And it had two different endings. Watch the director's cut. Don't watch the theatrical release. Very much better film. But they also, started to have some smartness to them, even though they were savage. So you start, because with everything, you're trying to find the way to do a riff that's different, that's fresh, that's entertaining. And then at the same time, World War Z came out, the Brad Pitt movie, and it had a lot of difficulties. They had to refilm and rewrite the entire third act, but it was a hit as well, and a movie I very much like. So, okay, and that was, of course, based on the book that was a blockbuster before the movie was made. So now we get to Army of the Dead. And it has like these super zombies as well as regular zombies, and the super zombies are smarter and faster and strong and blah, blah, blah. But it's just kind of like moving the pieces around as far as I'm concerned. They're trying to combine the Vegas heist movie like Ocean's 11 with the zombie movie with World War Z. And it just feels like product. It just feels like, okay, we got to get our... And it's also got a lot of... the Fast and the Furious DNA as well. And so in a way, it's a Living Dead movie cobbled together from parts of other better movies. But, so, I mean, again, it looks good. They put a lot of time into it. And I like Dave Bautista, Tig Notaro's in it, though she was filmed afterwards. They replaced the actor who played the helicopter pilot, so every shot of her, she never met the cast, which is amazing and fun. And I like Tig Notaro very much, though it's not really a great role for her. She's much better elsewhere. But then who are we supposed to care about? Who are we supposed to bond with? Nobody, essentially. Nothing has any weight to it. She kind of, Tig Notaro's character does a gag that was great in Aliens, and it's really dumb here because it's not set up, and on and on. I mean, it just is just. But here's the one question that I wanted to know. Okay, so the bad guy decapitates the female super zombie, and her head is still moving its eyes and its mouth and so forth. And it seems to me like, since you have to kill them by shooting them in the brain or whatever, that you could actually just stitch that head back on the body and it should work okay. So that was what I was hoping to see, but no such luck. So anyway, so that's sort of the basics. I mean, there's really no reason to talk more about it other than that. It's just another film that'll be what it is, and then on to the next one. But that said, I just did watch a science fiction movie that is worth your time. And I'd heard about it. It came out a couple years ago. Really an amazing film. It's called Aniara. Aniara. It's a Swedish film based on an epic poem by a Nobel laureate written in the 50s. In 1956 it came out. And It's about a spaceship headed for Mars that, because of an accident, gets deflected and starts heading off to another star system. And it's what happens to the people aboard as they try to find a way to survive and try to find a way to save themselves. It's really a good film. It feels very real. They've done a very good job of realizing that spaceship. It's a very dark film, and so if you don't like bleak Swedish kind of stories, if you're not an Ingmar Bergman fan, this may not be the movie for you. But if you like thoughtful science fiction that just is doing something you haven't seen before, this is a really good place to start. So Aniara, you can even go back to the poem and try to read it. It's, I'm starting to read it. I'll let you know about that one. But that's the good science fiction recommendation of the week. So anyway, that's it for now. But just wanted to share with you my thoughts. Remember to go to spacecommandkickstarter.com, throw some money at the campaign. That'll be greatly appreciated. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.